And, Sheila, what can I say? The walls are really closing in on blackface, given China crisis, which, by the way, is the name of an English band from the 80s. I love their song, Working with Fire and
Blackface
Steel.
China crisis?
Yeah, China crisis. And
Blackface China crisis. That's
yeah, but it's also
prophetic.
the name, but it's also an affliction of the Canadian electoral system. And it's not just Pierre Poilievre and Jagmeet Singh weighing in, although Jagmeet's not all in terms of weighing in. He's still propping up this regime. But we have video now of a former Liberal candidate. He's now a sitting independent. That would be MP Kevin Vuong. I believe he's in a downtown Toronto riding. And he's asking the PM why he's turning a blind eye to shady nominations and pro-Beijing MPs. First question before we run the clip, Sheila. Is the Prime Minister going to call out Mr. Vuong for being a racist against Chinese Canadians, given that Mr. Vuong, as you'll see in a few moments, folks, is a Chinese Canadian?
It's never stopped him before. I mean, he said that if you speak out against the CCP getting involved in Canadian politics and thus stealing the ridings from other Chinese Canadians, you're some kind of racist. As we know, at least 2 of these ridings were occupied by ethnic Chinese conservatives, Alice Wong and Kenny Chiu. But if you are like, hey, maybe those 2 should have gotten a better treatment than just allowing the CCP to steal the ridings from them, you're a racist. So you know what? If he does call Wong racist, is anybody going to be surprised? I'm not. I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Well, let's see Mr. Vuong in action.
Mr. Speaker, foreign operatives have interfered in Canada's electoral system and our democracy. Media and CSIS documents have indicated that members of the Liberal Party and caucus were involved. Money and instant on-demand supporters were used to get pro-China candidates elected and anti-China ones defeated. Cabinet and the PMO were well briefed on the extent of foreign interference, yet nothing was done. Why is the Prime Minister eager to turn a blind eye to shady Liberal nominations, sketchy donations, and having pro-Beijing MPs in his own caucus? Will his personally selected special rapporteur also be investigating the Liberal Party?
People, Sheila, hooting and hollering in the background. That's what I'd like to know. Now, do we have an answer, super producers Efren and Olivia, of blackface responding to Mr. Vuong? Okay, then let's see Justin's response.
Speaker, Canadians were...
From the top.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians are rightly extremely concerned about foreign interference into our institutions, our elections, and our democracy. That is why we are putting forward an independent top expert who will look at the entire landscape of interference and make sure that we're doing everything necessary and give Canadians confidence that the right processes have been followed, will be followed, and Canadians can continue to have confidence in their democracy and in the people they elect.
Holy mackerel. Sheila, I want to hear your thoughts on that. I'll give you mine very briefly. Last week and the week before, Blackface was saying if you were questioning the election results, especially the election of Asian Canadian MPs, you were committing Asian hate. You were a racist. And now he's saying, and just like 10 days later, Canadians are rightly concerned about our institutions. What's going on here?
You know what I want to know is I want to know what kind of compromise Han Dong has on Justin Trudeau, because this guy is about to take down Justin Trudeau just by existing. Like a wiser MP would have said, you know what? Like if he were a true ideological liberal and he was more concerned with, my scandal is going to damage the party and maybe even bring down the government, a normal person would say, I'm just going to cut this off and citizen independent until there's some sort of investigation so that my stink doesn't get all over the Liberal Party. A normal MP would do that. But I don't know what is going on with Han Dong. What does he have on the Prime Minister that the Prime Minister is not pressuring him to do those things? Where the Prime Minister is like, I've hitched my wagon to this out of control horse and I'm going to ride it all the way through town. I do not understand what's going on there, but whatever Han Dong knows, I bet it is something else.
You know what, Sheila? That's a brilliant point. It's something I haven't thought of myself until this very second. And you're right. I mean, this is by no means a conservative stronghold, Don Valley North, the riding of Mr. Dong. CSIS, according to the reports, if you believe them, and quite frankly, I do, specifically mentioned Mr. Dong. This is a bad actor. Do not endorse this man as a candidate. And blackface would have none of it. And I bet you without Dong running under the Liberal banner, another Liberal, someone a little cleaner, you would have won that riding. So yeah, that I think is justified speculation. What does Dong know about blackface or the Liberal Party of Canada that he gets, say, favored candidate status?
Yeah, a Liberal would have won this riding anyway. So what does Dong know? Or I guess by extension, what do the CCP know about Justin Trudeau that Dong also knows that they cannot move him out of this riding? Because we know Justin Trudeau intervened to salvage his nomination after CSIS told all the top Liberal Party brass, do not allow this nomination to go forward. There is foreign influence happening here. This is a very bad idea for national security. And the top Liberal brass, including Justin Trudeau, said, no, he's our guy. So I want to know what the CCP and by extension Dong knows about Justin Trudeau. That's the real, I think, scandal here if we can ever get back to that.
And Sheila, as far as I'm concerned, with our next video clip of Pierre Poilievre, he's going to ask Trudeau the question I've wanted to ask him for the last several years since the outbreak of the coronavirus. People say to me, if you ever had Trudeau cornered in an elevator, what question would you ask him? And thankfully, Pierre Poilievre, now with allegations of Chinese interference in our electoral system, asked it. Let's check out what I'm talking about.
He's blocking a public inquiry which would compel him to give answers. His members are blocking an investigation here at Parliament. He won't answer questions on the floor of the House of Commons. He's even got a bill that would allow him to censor the internet. It's almost as if he admires the basic Chinese communist dictatorship. Will he tell us, does he still admire the basic Chinese communist dictatorship as he so profusely said he did several years ago? Yes or no?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we're clearly seeing once again that the Leader of the Opposition is simply not serious in his approach in reassuring Canadians about institutions, about our democracy, about the integrity of our elections. That is why, Mr. Speaker, we are proposing significant and serious steps and mechanisms to make sure that independently and with expert advice, the right answers are being sought and the right answers are being shared with Canadians. That is not our answers. Those are not their answers. It is answers determined by independent panels of experts tasked with protecting our democracy.
Member for
Unbelievable, Sheila. And going back to what I said earlier, because he didn't answer the question, if he still admires the basic dictatorship of China. Given what's happened with COVID, given that this virus came out of China, I was always longing, kind of like Linus hoping that the great pumpkin would show up on Halloween night, that somebody in the mainstream media would ask that very question, even before the Chinese interference story hit the front page, Sheila. But based on the Wuhan virus causing millions of deaths around the planet, causing trillions, with a T, trillions of dollars of economic damage worldwide. Do you, Mr. Prime Minister, still admire the basic dictatorship of China? Not one of these liberal paid members of the media ever asked him that question. I think it's a fair question. But now with this added outrage of alleged Chinese interference, and I might add, Chinese police stations operating in our great dominion, it's an even more valid question to ask. Mr. Poilievre asked the question, but we did not get an answer.
Yeah, I got a real tough time with Mr. Blackface, multiple blackface performances. I'm going to grow the economy from the heart outward, and the budget's going to balance itself, and wearing stupid socks to high-level meetings with world leaders. I got a real tough time with a guy like that telling other people they are not taking things seriously enough. Because I think he's one of the most unserious world leaders that has ever been elected, unfortunately, multiple times to lead a country. And did you notice he said, we're going to get this person to ask the right questions? What does he mean by that? I don't need your stupid vetted questions. I want to know everything, not asking the right questions. According to whom? Justin Trudeau? I don't know how he's skirting and avoiding another issue altogether. In the United States right now, if they're not talking about the scandal of the withheld evidence of the January 6th trials, it's the Wuhan biolab and the biolab leak. We know through my reporting that the Globe and Mail stole a day later that Justin Trudeau's government gave money to the Wuhan bioweapons lab, where the virus is credibly accused of being leaked from now either by accident, which it sounds like it was pretty loosey-goosey for a bioweapons lab around there, or on purpose. I don't know. It's dealer's choice when you're dealing with the Chinese communist liars. But Justin Trudeau gave them money right after that. He funded the lab that is accused of releasing this thing. And no one is asking about that either, because now it's basically accepted as fact that the virus came from this lab, and Justin Trudeau gave the money right away. And anybody like me who said he gave the money, and they're saying, well, it's a coronavirus lab. Why wouldn't he give them money? I don't know, because it's the lab that leaked it, but nobody's asking about this either. And this is another huge Justin Trudeau Chinese scandal. This is a military-run bioweapons lab. That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.